continuing our cleaning up and user experience side of this application. So we are, last time around, we added this has 4 children. So in the roadmaps, we're able to see from the top list sort of what's been filled out and what hasn't. And now let's take that down a level, and we're going to actually look at the time frames, because at this point you have, and time frames are a little different from roadmap. Roadmap just has time frames underneath it. Time frame actually has 2 things. It has, if you look, it has child time frames potentially and goals for the period. One other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tweak this here so that our footer is not hanging over our lists, but I probably won't get to that this time. But we will start with, we're going to add 2 things here. We're going to have child time frames, and then we're going to have tasks, because a given time frame could have tasks directly or we'll say goals, because they could be directly tied to it, as we have here. So we're going to go back over. This is going to be more from our queries. We're going to do another raw query. So when we list roadmaps, we're now going to have, within this, when we do list well, there's 2 things. Let's start here. So this is on our time frame. So let's go to our time frame. We'll take a look at that real quick. So time frame, is that a specific one, or is that? Okay, so we have 2. We have a listing of time frames, but we have them underneath. We'll stick with the one underneath, which is the one with an ID. That's actually edit. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, that's what we want. Whoops, that's what we want. So if we go to our goals and we hit a time frame, so this is looking at a specific time frame. Okay, so it's TF1, which is edit time frame. And so let's go look at that real quick. And we look in here, we come in, and data is just this time frame objects. We're just getting a list of time frames within that. So what we need to do is this instead is going to be, instead of objects get, it's going to be objects.raw. And we're still going to have it based on, there's going to be an ID. So we'll take a look at this, because we're going to end up having a parameter. And if we look at our prior one, here it was just a straight query. Now we're going to actually work on adding a parameter into that as well. So let's make sure I got that right. Objects raw. Yeah, objects raw. Okay. So let's figure out our query. So start with this. This time we're going to start with our time frames. So we can do it most simply is, this is the bulk of what we've got, except for we're going to have an ID. Oops, that's not that I want to flip over to. So because here I want child time frame, so I want everybody. In this case, I'm sending a 1 across. So it's technically going to be, TP time frame where parent ID equals 1. So that's our parameter. So here's, and if we look, have first quarter, second quarter goals, first quarter, second quarter goals. But now we have to expand that out, because we need to go look at what the children of that is. And the way we do that is goes back to, we're going to create a left join back to the same table, but we're going to join where parent ID equals myself, essentially. In each case, this would be self. And let's see, so that's our left join, and then I'm just going to do where, like we had it before, where parent ID equals 1, except for now, I have to go off this primary. This is the main table I'm searching off of. This TF2 here is the second table I'm going to be, is the one that's going to be essentially the children. So I want to make sure where the, so where that, and so this is where TF1 dot parent ID equals that. So now what I'm going to see is that neither of these have children, which I think we saw that here. So if I look at first quarter, it doesn't have any child time frames. If we go to second quarter, it doesn't have any child time frames. But let's do first quarter. I'm going to add some time frames. I'm going to add January and save. And this is something we want to do as well. We're going to want to go back and have the ability to go back to this guy's parent, which we did not add here. So I've got January, and I'm going to create February. And I'm going to create March. So this will give us something to be able to look at in our query. So now if we look at our query, we're going to see, same query. We're going to see now that we get January, February, March for first quarter, and then nothing for second quarter. Now we also want to do the tasks or the goals. So that means we're also going to left join back into TP project underscore, and what did we call that? We called it, whoops, over here, models. Did we call it goals? We called it task. Whoops. So if we go DP project task, and we're just going to call it T on T dot, what did we call it? Whoops. And the parent to that is actually time frame. So we go over here. So we're T dot time frame equals, and then this is going to be off of the parent one, not the child one. So equals TF1 dot ID. And T dot time frame. So I wonder, did I not get that right? Let's see. So if I look at my model, task, time frame. Well, let's take a look at task. Did I not? Maybe I missed something here. Let's see. If I do a make migrations, let's make sure I don't, nope, no changes. I don't think I have to migrate. No migrations to apply. Oh, let's do, can I do all? Oh, it says none. So let's just make sure one more time. So if I do DP project, yeah, there's no migrations to apply. Okay. So let's go take a look back at my query. Let's see. So it says unknown column T at time frame. So if we describe DP project underscore task, oh, it's time frame ID, my mistake. So we need to do the time frame ID. Whoop. And so now we see, it's starting to get a little bit long, but we have here is a row where we're going to see that this has got January. Oh, and there's no tasks tied to each of those. Do I have no tasks to that? Let's create some tasks on that guy. So if I go back to, oh, I should have it. Whoops, let's run the server. Okay. So running the server. If I look at here, I should have goals. I should have multiple goals. And this is the time frame. So if I do, oh, and let me actually pull this out. Since I'm sort of working on this on the fly, this is going to be here. Let's just do it like this for now. So we want to left join the task on its time frame ID equals the primary ID. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is not actually off of the time frame, off the parent. This is actually off of, he's actually going to be the time frame ID equals, in this case, 1 as well. Because I want the tasks for this guy, not these inner guys. So now if I do that, I'm going to see, let's see. So let's do this one. So now I see a much longer one, and I can see, I'm seeing duplicates all over the place because I'm doing all these left joins. So this goes back to what we saw last time, where we're going to do, there we go. Where one of the things we did is we started to do group by. So where's that at? So now what we want to do is take in our long query, wherever that went. Let's just do this. I think I missed it. There it is. Okay, so for here, now there's two things we're going to group by. This is going to become a little bit annoying. So we're going to go group by first. Let's group by, how do we want to do this one? Oh, well, first let's do tf.star, tf1.star. So we're going to take everything from here. So let's do that first. And that's going to clean it up a little because we're going to start seeing where our duplicates exist. So see, we can see a bunch of duplicates here. So now that means, darn it, let's come back over here to our view. And so the first thing we're going to group by is we've got two things we need to group by. We need to group by the tf.parent ID. So we're going to group by, we're going to group by tf2 dot ID. And so if we group by the tf2.id here, yeah. Did I get my group? Yeah, I got it. So now we're going to see only second quarter goals plus the 3 first quarter, because remember, what we're going to see is we have 3 goals for a period. So second quarter goals shows up once, but then we're going to see first quarter because we have 3 tasks. So now we have to, and with that means we want to, let's go reviews. And then here, the first things we're going to do is we're going to do count. So we're going to have 2 counts. One is going to be children, and the other is going to be tasks. So we need to group by tf2 ID, and we also need to group by the task.id. So when we group by task ID, we're going to see it's not really going to change, but we are going to count. So children, we need to count the tf2.id. And I think we can do this. And if we count the t.id, we're going to get task. Let's see what we get here. So if we go back over here. So we're not getting that one right. So we missed something. So let's go back to this. So we count that. We're going to group by that. May have to group this twice because it may be a little bit different. Oh, that is it. So we have to group. We have to do this twice now. So this one becomes a little bit more complicated. So we actually have to do. Well, let's do the children first. And then we're going to come back because this is going to actually be a little more complicated. Which may take us into, so probably not, this is going to be a 2-parter because, okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to get our children, and then that's going to be based off of TF2. So if we do that, we go over here. Whoop. Oh, did I lose? Shoot, I lost my where somewhere in there. Whoops, no, views. Here it is. So where? So if I do that, I think that's going to give me what I need. Oh, now I got to count. Did I not group that right? Let's go look back at my view select. So I'm going to select star, group by that. So TF1, oh, that needs to be count. where TF1 equals that. Let's see, I think that will get us there. No, we're not quite there because it's not counting us, so we're not grouping something right. So if we look here, we're going to select TF1. We're going to left join on the time frame on TF2.parentID equals that. So maybe we can count TF. I don't want to group by TF2. I want to group by TF1. And then this is going to be TF1.star count. Oh. And this is going to be children. TF2.id. So now we should see it. There we go. So now we see our children. So now we're gonna, since we're doing two groupings, we're gonna actually build on this, and we're gonna take care of that up at next episode. It's gonna be a nice little two-parter. So I'm gonna wrap this one up. We've gone a little long. I forgot how complicated this one was gonna be. That's what happens when you do stuff on the fly. So we'll come back around to it. But until then, go out and have yourself a great day, a great week, and we will talk to you next time.